Welcome back to Cartoon Analysis. I'm your host Giovanni Perez Mendez, and in this video, I will be reviewing Season 3, Episode 1 of Star vs. the Forces of Evil, other known as Return to Mewni. Let's jump right in. Taking place after Star crashed, we have an open shot of the Diaz residence, without Star's extension, and most likely the same night of the occurrence. Mr. and Mrs. Diaz hear plates moving around downstairs along with the laser puppy. After thinking of what to do in this situation, Mrs. Diaz walks down the stairs with a golf club for protection, and frightened Mr. Diaz following behind. After realizing it's Marco who is in the kitchen with one of the laser puppies, Angie tries to figure out a way to cheer him up, and possibly get him to move on by cleaning up from the party. While he is still in a depressed state, Raphael begins calling a teen sadness hotline to find someone who can cheer him up, but is stopped by Mrs. Diaz, who wants to do it on her own. She keeps trying, but the more she does, the more it reminds Marco of Star. Then we begin to hear Star, who is watching over Marco using the all-seeing eye spell while sad to let him go. She is inside a carriage with all of her stuff, and Moon is navigating it using a unicorn. After Moon overhears Star talking about Marco to herself wearing his hoodie, she tells her to lower her voice while others could be listening to their every move and speech. Star is told to check up on the High Commission after their temporarily assassination, and ask Moon how they could revive them. Now knowing they have to reach a sanctuary where the will of magic can rejuvenate them, Star asks about Lekman, not knowing he died as well. Moon tries to hide the fact of his death, but not paying attention to the path, the unicorn pulling them then disappears, and the carriage they are in gets weaker and weaker. The Fritz, which is what is causing the magic to fade, causes them to lose use of transportation and a guide of light, setting up a little camp for the night. Moon tries creating a fire for warmth and light. After many failed attempts using her magic, Star tries using her wand, but is told it is corrupted. Thinking it's okay to use it in the condition it is in, Star is told Glossric will not return because of Toffee, and he is the same reason why her wand is, as you would say, dying. Moon searches for something else to start a fire, while Star in the background creates one with the tactics Marco taught her of the earthly ways. This reminds her of him and of how much she misses Marco, but is suddenly interrupted by Moon, who hears background noises. Star and Moon check it out and find Ludo/Toffee's rat minions who are roaming the area. Star almost attacks them with her wand, but Moon stops her, so she has to fight the old-fashioned way. After Star finishes up her fighting, Moon tells her they have to leave before someone else finds them, but after forgetting to watch over the floating dead High Commission, one of the rats releases them into the air where they fly off. Moon chases after them, with Star following behind, and eventually they stop to see the Commission on top of a giant, dangerous tree. Star and Moon begin climbing it, and while not paying attention, Star hears Moon's muffled voice nearby and finds her wrapped around by vines. After freeing her, Moon and Star reach the High Commission in the sanctuary's vicinity. They then reach the Gatekeeper, which is a sort of alligator or crocodile that can grant them access, but only if they know the password, which oddly enough, Moon knows by repeating the noise "blah" over and over again. Star thinks her mother has completely lost it, but soon comes to the realization it really was the key, and the sanctuary arises. They reach the inside of the Temple of Glossrix, and Star puts each of the Commission into their own pods for revival. Moon then opens the wellspring, which is supposed to release regular magic into their pods, but what they get out is dark and contaminated magic. Realizing their first plan was a bust, Moon pretends she has a backup one to protect Star. She then bandages Star up using a ripped-off sleeve of Marco's hoodie. Star asks her mother if there's any other way to revive the High Commission, but Moon delays her response again and tells her they should just stay put for protection from Toffee. Star then retaliates and tells her the two of them could track down Toffee using the rats they found earlier, and end the battle for Mewni once and for all. Moon defends her option and tells Star both of them couldn't win even with the High Commission against Toffee. Star becomes infuriated by all the lies her mother had told her and fires back about what Moon said about Lekman meeting them at the sanctuary. Moon again admits to her lies and Lekman's death. She tells Star the reason why they shouldn't storm to Toffee is because they have a severed finger. Star and Moon began arguing again, and Star tells that she doesn't want to end up a life of hiding for the rest of her existence. She points out to the fact that she had a future with Marco, and lifts her wand to use it. Moon begins stating Toffee can track them when she uses it, but after all the lies Star has been told, she states Toffee could find them either way. Star begins to make her escape, but Moon stops her, then admitting to why she had told Star so many lies to protect themselves, and that's because Toffee and his army killed her mother. Moon most likely didn't want to lose any more family to Toffee's evil clutches, and wanted to keep her safe from harm instead of ending up like the previous queen. This causes Star to stop and realize she never knew her grandmother had been killed. Moon begins to mourn, and Star sits next to her and asks about when and how did it happen. Star is told it was at the same age she is currently in, and Moon asks for help from Eclipsa. This surprises Star, knowing her and the entire Mewni kingdom didn't know Eclipsa was even alive anymore. Moon dreadfully states she is alive, and that she made a deal with her. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you all enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe and turn on bell notifications to receive updates of whenever I upload a stream. Leave a like and comment down below to show your support and opinion. Finally, share this with your friends and family to help Team Analyzer become stronger. I'm your host Giovanni Perez Mendez, signing out.